Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Pro Wrestling Power Podcast review of NXT in your house. That's right, this is your host, Wildcat Parsons. Oh, for the love of 90s nostalgia, you know what? You gotta even turn the hat around. I mean, we're gonna go full nostalgia, and you see the background. This was my 90s because I was a poor kid, so it was like a little bit of the 70s and a lot of the 80s all tied into one. The Connect 4, there's an Atari, NES. There might have been a Super Nintendo in there about the the mid 90s. Eventually upgraded all the way, but they brought the old set back, and it was just fun. A lot of fun. I mean, there was even Todd Pettengill made an appearance. They even did that old-fashioned WWE proudly presents, and it was just it was a lot of nostalgia overload. So, and kind of like they did, let's just dive straight into it. The opener was everything you need in the opener. Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, Tegan Knox were against Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and let's continue to spotlight the women's undercard. I mean, and that makes perfect sense. Let's give these ladies a chance to show what they're capable of, so that we don't have to keep relying on the same ones in the upper card. I mean, a lot of the talk when Charlotte went to NXT was we have to elevate the NXT women's division. But it's really, really good. It really, really is. And that's what we got to see here. The ladies worked at 1,000 miles an hour. There were a few too many dive spots for my taste that got a little indie-rific at times. But I'll forgive that because it told so many stories so well. Like there's a spot where Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai got some quality alone time in the ring, and it looked like they legitimately hated each other. Toward the end, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, who have been feuding, fought their way to the back. Shotzi Blackheart did her traditional, oh my god, how didn't she hurt herself spot, where you're just waiting with bated breath to make sure she's okay because she took a crazy bump. And Tegan Knox beats Gonzalez, after the match broke down, and I like it. It elevates Tegan Knox a little bit to be the one to get the pinfall from this, and I really, there's so many storylines that were added, so many opportunities, so many different little things that we can tell going forward and book going forward. And then we get a couple of minutes to catch our breath. We see Rhea Ripley in the back getting herself ready for her triple threat title match between her, Charlotte, and Io Shirai. And weirdly enough, she's got a banner hung up behind her, Rhea Ripley. I mean, self-promotion every chance you can get, I guess. I thought it was cool. I liked it. She's sitting there all mean mugging and got the banner. Hey, look, I'm Rhea Ripley. Get over it. And honestly, I hope that was enough of a break to catch your breath, because Finn Balor and Damian Priest, they tried to murder each other. There's no other way to explain what happened in this match. It was physical. It was well fought. It was, Damien's a bigger guy. Finn Balor's a smaller guy. These matches tend to work well. Damien's not performed up to his capability on NXT so far, and I think putting him in a match with Finn Balor was a way to get that out of him. This was probably his best match since he's been in NXT. And a lot of it was fought outside the ring. I do think they relied a bit too much on the ring apron cliche. I learned something during this match. It's the hardest part of the ring. I don't think I've ever heard that before. But it was repeated enough to where I think I have it figured out now. But seriously, these guys work really well together. The ending was even good because it actually kept Damian looking strong even in a loss. Damian went for, he was going to Razor's Edge Finn Balor from in the ring onto the ring steps on the floor, and reversed it. Damian ended up taking a bump. He looked like a rag doll flying over the ropes to actually hit the ring steps himself, which let Finn bring him back in the ring and hit the coup de grace. So, I mean, well done by both of you guys. This, on a normal night, would have been solely the best match of the night. But I think the ladies' title match coming up later was just as good because it was. They're both equals in my eyes. We got an Ico Pro ad because, yay, the 90s. I bet that stuff still tastes as nasty as it did then, because that's all I heard from most people was how bad this stuff was. Then, probably my biggest disappointment of the night, we get Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano. And for as good as Finn Balor and Damian Priest were, this match was disappointing. These are two guys who are absolutely great workers, and WWE went with one of its typical three endings. You know, the throwing the dartboard and trying to figure out how we're going to end it. And so we'll get there in a second. It did start out really cool with Johnny Wrestling giving us a tour of the In Your House set house. That was funny. Keith Lee with the Black Lives Matter ring gear that held the camera's attention appropriately. Everything going on, it felt like the right thing to do in the right moment. And it started out really solid, and it was physical, but then it turned into some just overbooked stuff. Like, I don't know what they were trying to do. Like, it was unnecessary, the overbooking that they did, especially with where it ended up going. Because Candace comes out, and Mia Yim comes out, and Keith Lee gets distracted. Johnny pulls his keys, and given his ring attire, I'm scared as to where those keys came from. Does the key eye poke from the distraction, which Keith Lee no-sells? I'm not sure how you no-sell keys to the eye, but whatever. I'm sure Hogan did it at some point in time. But then, Keith hits his finisher, and he pins Johnny Gargano. If we want Keith Lee to come out looking strong, we don't need Gargano to do the eye poke. We don't need Candace and Mia to come in. We just let Keith win and not overbook this or overthink this. But who am I? I'm just a guy who talks about wrestling on YouTube. Then I wasn't looking forward to it because I'm not really a fan of either one of these guys. Sue me. Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream. This was, how do I put it? It was a cinematic style mess of overbooked, crazy. I mean, glad we got. This was the only thing missing from the 90s for me, was some 90s WCW Vince Russo overbooked crazy mess. And Lord, did this provide it. I mean, Adam Cole arrives in a truck. Apparently, when you win a championship in WWE, they give you a truck. Becky Lynch had one. Stone Cold had one. Yeah, Asuka needs to get one. She deserves it. Let's do this. Then Dream arrives in a Lamborghini, so apparently he was told ahead of time, you gotta bring your own ride. Hey, to be fair, the ring was set up in the parking lot of the NXT building. The headlights of the cars illuminated it, so it did give it a cool look. But it's all downhill from the look. And I gotta say, based on this match and the things that take place in it, and previous NXT shows, apparently the NXT parking lot's like the most dangerous place in the United States. There's been people attacked with weapons, that's attempted murder, last time I checked. And then multiple kidnappings. There's at least been, up till tonight, there's been at least 2-3 performers kidnapped in the parking lot. Well, guess what? Dexter Lumis comes out from underneath the ring, throws the Undisputed Era in the trunk of his car, and drives away. So, guys, we need to figure out how to make the NXT parking lot safe for performers. This is getting out of hand. I mean, sure. And then Adam Cole wins after he hits a low blow. And then, of course, the cars in the parking lot are honking their horns like they're celebrating a good guy winning. You just won with a low blow. What, you pay people to do that for you, Adam Cole? It was just weirdness. It obviously wasn't my favorite thing. If I were rewatching this, I would fast forward through it. It's probably the worst cinematic match that they've done, and it's probably not even close. We get a promo spot. Old Todd comes back and talks to us, and he's selling the WWE hotline. And DX is there, and they look old. And I felt old. But it was fun little moments. We're remembering how things were back in the day. And then we get probably one of the biggest moments of the night. Karrion Kross basically just annihilates Ciampa in 6-7 minutes. I mean, Ciampa gets in a little bit of offense, but Kross was just dominant. And they did a really good job of putting over Ciampa, talking about his accomplishments in NXT, so that we understand how big of a deal that this is, that Kross wins this easily. I mean, and even the finish made sense. Kross gets him in his hole. I refuse to call it what they did because it's stupid. Come up with a better name. And since his finisher, focuses on the neck, given Ciampa's history of neck injury, it just made sense that this is what finishes the match. And Kross looks like a monster. And that's what we needed from him. Now we get to the main event. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai. And it was well done. Earlier on in the match, Charlotte rolls out of the ring and lets these two fight it out, hoping that she can come in and steal the win later. And there's a lot of good moments. Every one of them gets to shine at different spots in the match. I mean, seriously, this one you should watch along with Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Those are the two must-watch from this pay-per-view. And so toward the end, actually at the end, we have Rhea in the ring, in the figure 8, and we're all like, no, I know where this is going. But Io Shirai hits a moonsault that it catches Ripley's face. I hope she's okay. And she pins Rhea Ripley 1, 2, 3, while Charlotte's trying to undo the figure 8. So we have a new NXT champion, Io Shirai. And it makes sense. If you're going to have the belt in your company, it should be on the best actual wrestler in your company for the NXT division. So overall, I thought it was a really good pay-per-view. There was a couple of spots that just the weird booking at the end of the Keith Lee Gargano match, and just the entire Vince Russo horrific monstrosity that was Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole. I mean, what were you thinking? Who said that was a good idea? For the love of all that's holy. Anyway, because WWE apparently has a goal to have a pay-per-view on every weekend of the year, for whatever reason they decide to do it, next Sunday, we have another pay-per-view to talk about. So, until then, thank you guys. Please, if you like it, throw a like down there, subscribe, throw some comments in there and tell me your favorite spots of the night. If you disagree with the Dream Cole match, let me know. Anyway, thank you guys. God bless.